And so the only way to make all this happen and not have women in particular collapse because of the weight of the work is to provide an infrastructure that supports families having kids.
Hi, and welcome to another episode of On Purpose. Today, I'm joined by Indra Nooyi, the former chairwoman and CEO of PepsiCo. Welcome, Indra.
Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure to see you again.
What I'd love to start out with is your childhood in India, which was just such an intriguing story. But one of my favorite parts was your entree as a rock band. I believe you were the log rhythm, which I thought was just such a phenomenal thing. Tell me what you learned from that experience.
I was born into a country where women really didn't work outside the house. And so I'm born into this fairly conservative South Indian family, but I'm lucky. I won the lottery of life in that my father and grandfather say, you know what? We have granddaughters. We want them to dream. We want them to do whatever they want. We want them to be educated. One by one, my sister and I, both of us, did our masters in business in India. We both started working. And along the way, I wanted to break all kinds of boundaries because, middle children are always the most ignored children. I found an old guitar in school, and with a bunch of girls, we started this, folk singing group in our convent school. I went to an Irish convent in Madras. And then as we graduated, this evolved into a rock band. We started to play Creedence Clearwater, and we started to play songs by Dawn and all kinds of the one-hit wonders of the 70s. And we were quite a phenomenon in Madras, big city Madras. We didn't sound very good in retrospect, but it was one hell of an experience.
Your desire to leave India in 1978 to attend school here, I think, first of all, how did you come to that conclusion, and what did that mean for your family?
All of us in India had this incredibly positive view of the United States. And it was aspirational to get into college in the United States and get into university and carry on. And I decided to apply, fully thinking that I wouldn't get in. I wouldn't get a scholarship even if I got in. But then lo and behold, I got in. My parents looked at the letter and just threw it away and said, we can't afford to send you, so why did you waste all this time? And then a couple of weeks later, I got a letter saying that some combination of scholarships and work study and loans, they were going to bridge me through the 2 years. And then they bought my ticket. The rest is history, as they say.
Many women today say it's very challenging to be a working mother and to figure out how to manage the balance, sort of having children with their job. Talk to me a little bit about how you and your husband thought about forming a family and the way you solved some of those dilemmas when you were first starting out, which was such a unique problem for even companies to even support you through.
In those days when we got married, we knew we wanted kids. Unfortunately, my father passed away a year or two after we got married. And then a year later, I had my first daughter, and I got 3 months of maternity leave from BCG. Without that, I could not have given birth and spent the first 3 months of my daughter. I was lucky too that in the Indian system, family comes to help. And my mother, since my father had passed away, came and lived with us for the first couple of years of our daughter's life, helping to take care of our daughter. Had that not happened, Kristin, I don't know what I would have done.
As you outline in your book, which is a wonderful biography, but also takes a pretty hard position on where society needs to go and what leaders need to be doing. So maybe you can share some of your thoughts on how do we build a better infrastructure to support working parents to care for both their parents as well as their children? What are some of the things you think leaders should be focused on?
We need a birth rate of about 2.1 per woman to be able to keep the population growing. That 2.1 has dropped now to 1.63, I think. And in countries like Korea, it's down to 0.6 and 0.7, which is a very dangerous birth rate. And so the only way to make all this happen and not have women in particular collapse because of the weight of the work is to provide an infrastructure that supports families having kids. And the best way to do it is good paid leave. And I'm not saying months on end, 3 to 6 months of paid leave. The second is, thanks to COVID, we now know flexible working helps. How do you allow the young family builder to have some flexible hours?
You also talk a lot about learning and being a student of the world and being curious. I wonder, as you look at your two daughters today, what you're learning from them.
They're growing up in a whole different environment where privacy is something they don't even think about. They give their data to everybody. I'm trying to tell them, don't give your data to so many people. And they're like, Mom, how do you get on this if you can't give your data? How can you even buy something if you can't give the data? Go to the store and buy it. Who goes to the store to buy these things? I'm like, me, I go drive to the store and buy things because I don't want to give my data to every new person. But I think the world has changed around us. And so I am beginning to slowly understand what it is to be a digital native and how I should stop complaining.
I think the importance of role models such as you, who have really demonstrated what hard work, commitment, perseverance has meant. So thank you so much, Indra, for joining me.
Pleasure, Kristin. It's been a pleasure chatting with you.
So thank you so much for joining us for On Purpose. We look forward to seeing you again next time. Thanks.